take Dwa, but this time it's actually recording instead of not recording, and me getting 5 minutes in. So for quite a while, I've found digital note-taking apps just don't quite do it for me. Like, I've used plenty of digital notification things and like to-do lists and things like that, and even gamified habit tracking habit tracking games to try and help me get on top of it too, and it just hasn't really done it for me. I can have like the fancy collate notification notes and to-do lists and stuff on my phone, but it just doesn't quite work for me long term. And it's been kind of one of those things where it's really easy to forget and like just brush over it, even though it's like up there in my face every day on my phone screen. And I found that analog note taking just does it a little bit better for me than the digital does, because I remember it a lot easier, and even though it's not in my face, I still find it's easier to recall than it is for something that I typed onto the screen or into VimWiki or what have you. Because like even the note-taking for VimWiki just doesn't quite do it for me. I've got a lot of stuff in a VimWiki that I have kept track of, but I just haven't really acted on. Whereas when I've done an analog system, I've been able to keep track of it a little bit better. And for the last little bit, I've had a bullet journal that I've kept track of things in. So this is kind of like the one you can actually get off of bulletjournal.com. And so it's the edition 2. It's been chewed up by the dog, kind of this just in the last month. But this has kind of been like a second brain. Granted, there are a lot of holes in it where I've fallen off the rocks with it. But in general, it's been something that I've been able to refer to and put a lot of things into and log different things into to keep track of, and has made it easier for me to remember things. And I've actually so this is my bullet journal for 2023, and I've already got my 2024 one lined up. So I kind of try and like pick a different color for each year, and keep to like darker colors. So I've got like the nice dark green here. This is kind of like a dark, a muted blue? Yeah, muted blue, basically. Gray color. But I've been doing it for the last few years. So I've got kind of like 2019 is when it started, and then into 2020. So that's what this first one is. Kind of like me getting my footing in it. And it's not actually like an official bullet journal styled one. Leuchtturm. It's actually just your standard Leuchtturm 1917 that I had picked up at a Barnes & Noble. And so you can see I've got like all the basic stuff in here. Like we've got, let's see, March. And I don't even think we start in... Yeah, we start in December. So yeah, I believe it starts December 2019 and then goes on from there. So you've got the future log, and it goes into it. Did I start 2018? One of the two there. So let's turn back. You can see I've got a good number of empty pages here. So let me flick that out. So for 2 years in this book in particular, I've got like this sizable chunk of pages that are missing. So from 183 to 242. And that's like a bullet journal that covers about 2-ish years, or a little more than a year, one of the two. Let's see. So we've got 9, 4, 1. So yeah, it covers 2 years. And this is kind of where I was getting my footing from. You can see I've got different notes in here and things like that. I've even got, so like on the month spread for this first one, like some numbers to track, different numbers and things like that for, I think it was solar, like knocking doors for solar companies and whatnot, but or no, wait, no. This was stream stats, basically. So like I was keeping track of my stream numbers. So like these would be like the key indicators. So you've got like the followers, the bits that I got in that day, and then like the tiered subs 1, 2, or 3. And I would keep track of this for each day. So yeah, so I was trying to keep track of numbers for a little bit there. So I have a couple months where I had that. I started it here in October, and I think it eventually fell off. Eventually fell off in 2020 because, yeah, it just didn't seem to be doing anything, and it seemed needless. And I've got various different spreads that way. So that was kind of like getting my first footing. Then the next year in 2021, so I got the official edition 1 bullet journal. And this is one, it kind of has some of the same guide tools as the edition 2 does. It's got your legend, your stuff in there. If I can flip that over, put a postal sticker in there. And then the back was kind of like your guide to give you a quick overview of the bullet journal method. But let's see, I've got to curate whatever I'm showing. So like in this one, I had like different projects I was working on in the back here. Oh, and if I flick through here, you can see I've still got a fair number of empty pages, and I think it's worse this time around because I'm not covering 2 years of time. So we've got 152 that's an empty page to what? 233. So like that's an 80-page span of empty pages in the back here. But so this is kind of where I started doing a weekly spread that kind of looked like this. So I'd have my days out and then like what I was doing. And then I had a goals section. And did I do it here? It doesn't look like I did. But then I had the grid square, the goal square here as well for different subjects. And there was kind of a methodology to that. But then you see that I did that for quite a while. So you can see I've got the monthly spread here. And let's see. Let's see if I can find a better one. Okay. Yeah, that'll be fine. So I've got the goals and then the tasks. And then along here I've got the monthly log. And that kind of started back in 2021 when I started doing those changes. And a lot of these changes have basically transitioned over since. So if we go to 2022, come on. Oh, this is my first second edition bullet journal. So yeah, it's still a black cover, but it looks different on the front. The font face is different. So so in the back pocket, it had a summarized guide for bullet journaling. And let's see. My number of empty pages comes out to, let me double check the back. Ooh, the back page is empty. I can't remember what I was going to do for it, but I actually have a few less in this one. So we go from, what is it? Come on, focus, buddy. Sam Snug, focus. 179 to 206. So we're like about 25-ish empty pages, basically. 26. Which is much better than otherwise. And you can see I'm still keeping up with this weekly spread. So this weekly spread came from my mom suggesting it for one, and for two, I'd fallen in love with planners on my mission. Actually, give me 2 seconds. Okay, so basically a planner from my mission. One thing about it is like there was like this artsy aspect to covering your planner. So you've got like some sort of thing like magazine cutting, or in this case, fake Pokemon. No, it was reproduction Pokemon cards or fake Pokemon cards as the cover here in this case, and then contact paper on top of it to kind of preserve it. So you had a number of features in here that basically helped us keep track of our different goals and key indicators, basically our key numbers that we would keep. It's like our key indicators. So like this was like our weekly goals set up, and the bullet journal provides enough flexibility to work with that. So we could have goals for like different things and whatnot, and these are our key indicator numbers. And that's kind of where the stream indicator numbers on the monthly came from. And then on the daily, you would basically have, and you notice that it's kind of like a 2-page spread. You've got extra notes on the side here where you can keep track of things. And they even give you the boxes there, which is cool. And then let me double check that day. Yeah. And then you had your whole day planned out in another spread. And you had, again, notes section, to-do list. You had study plans in here, and even more key indicators that like were kept track of here. You set goals for what you wanted to do, and then you wrote them down. You had your initial plan and your backup plan. So this kind of comes in the same step as that. Now, also on top of that, fresh off my mission, I wanted a planner like that. So I had gone with a Podunk RM planner that you could find in many stores. And so you had some of the same elements. Now this one is pretty empty, I think, and I was looking at doing an app with it. So you can see I actually take and do some of the same things with it. So if I flip through this one real quick, you can see that I've got different cutouts in each section. So it's easy to quickly transfer to a certain week. So I can go like this and open it up. But again, you've got your daily plan. They don't include the backup quite as much. You've got your notes section, scripture study, exercise plan, and then goals and to-do list. And so the bullet journal made it easy to keep track of that without having like a big spread that you had to buy like every few weeks. So like even here you had the weekly stuff. You had your week at a glance, which this actually provides a much better week at a glance than this does. And then you've got your various goals here, and that's what this grid kind of filled in. So you had those options there, and then the week as well. So that's kind of where I pull a lot of this from, and it's kind of simplified in some ways and made more complex in others. And then I can do the daily rapid logging in a spread after that over the week. And this one is pretty empty on that. But on top of that, I've also got different notes spreads scattered throughout. So if I go to the index of this one, dang it, I'm going to cut that out. This is not kept very well. But yeah, edition 1. Or no, second edition. So this is also the point at which I started school, is the end of 2020. And so here's the current one. So if I open up to the front here, I can go to, come on, index. So I can see the index. I've got different tech notes, lessons, talks that I was planning, and things like that. I've indexed a lot of things, and including the months. I've got to finish out that for the rest of it. But let's see. If I go to, let me go to this one. Or do I want to do that one? Yeah. So here I've got like my big daily spread after my week spread. So most of my week by each day with the quick rapid logging will fit into like a single spread. So if I go back to this one, I've got the weekly and then I've got the daily after it. So like a whole week, I'll put like the whole week here with everything. And then the next week, the daily stuff will be put in the spread after it. If I turn to this one, this is how the monthly is now. I don't have the same key indicators. I do use the stickers that they provide with it because they have stickers to go with it that will help you organize all this. And that is part and parcel with the back quick guides as well in the back. So again, I've got the goals and then I've got the task that is about the halfway point. In the edition 2 has your splitting it into thirds and splitting it into halvesies marked out for you so you can easily tell. If I go to the index again, I can actually, let's go to Tech Notes. Okay, so like here I've got different study notes for, or wait, no, these are notes for an OpenBSD video. So I've got that, and then if I go to 70 something, okay, so here's like my planning for Netflix plus flashcards, and I think I don't have anything after that, but you can see I skipped a spot to make room for my daily logs and spreads. Let's go find another spread that I had. Okay, so here is more Net Plus flashcard stuff. So I've got like the IP ranges and network layers on top of it. So I think I combined for the most part where it was applicable into it, and I include the terms here and the actual layer name, what it does, and or different components of it here. Then you've got the IP range, different IPs, and then like for IPv4 and then IPv6. But then also here I've got like whole diagrams of like things going on, like different thoughts that I have that I need a larger spread for. And then here's like a talk I was planning for church and just like notes that way. And I will like refer from this rather than reorganizing my thoughts into a cohesive order. I'll like number things. Let's see if I can find one. And you can see that I'm not doing anything really fancy. It's just me like logging different things for it all. I've even got like lab notes here to keep track of things that I didn't really need to keep track of. Let's go back to the index. That'll be helpful. And so again, this one is actually for, this year. So I should have, we'll count up the number of empty pages in a second. 99 and 98. So like here I've got like a different organization of things. I'll generally have like the headings here and then like put notes under each section. So depending on how many different heading sections I have, I will split it out into smaller or larger chunks that way. So like for example, if I go back here a little bit of ways, I've got it chunked out here. So like this one is just split between two sections on one page and then like left open for the other in case I have extra things. But yeah. And then if I count up the pages, let's see. We're pretty close. And I've already, no, wait. Yeah, that is this week. So I've got from 179 to 296 or 206. So we're still at about 25-ish, but that's like decreased substantially from it. And I've still missed a few weeks here and there, but that's kind of like the big overview of like how I've used it so far over the last few years. And just for like those that may be new to it, when you get like a second edition, which they're kind of like pushing really hard right now at the end of the year, you get the sticker sheet, you get the quick guide, and it goes over that. And then it has everything laid out for you. I think I already messed with this one and got it. Yeah, I laid it out. So you've got your index section, then you've got the future log section for a few pages, and then I believe next, where's the intentions? Pretty sure that was in here somewhere. Intentions right here next to the legend key. So like I at one point had added routine as a key thing in here, and you can see that they include, they include a dot grid for you to like show it. And this is really where I've learned to fall in love with dot grid sheets, is from bullet journaling, to the point that I kind of dislike lined paper. And if I can't get a dot grid, I'll prefer a lined grid that will do it for me as well. So yeah, you can check out like the bullet journal info at the QR code. But yeah, I mean, to the point that when I got field notes, I had to have, if I couldn't get a dot grid in it, I had to have it grid square. So that's how prolific it's gotten, because now I can take and turn a sheet and still have like lines to keep me straight if I really need it, like there. So I'm only showing you part of that because that's like future plans otherwise. But yeah, that's kind of where like I've come and how I've used bullet journaling and how it's kind of evolved over time, to the point that I still use some methods continuously. And really, some of these have been a result of projects that I've tried to work on and planned on for like over a year and a half now. So that's where a lot of this comes from, some of the roots of it, how I use it, and maybe you can use it too. This is like really a modular method, like the best method that you can find that's an analog method for those people, tech people that like their computers to also be analog, you know, or I mean modular Linux. I think for any open source Linux person, this is probably your best one. You can adapt it to your workflow, and it doesn't have to stay the same. There are many things that you can pull in, pull out. You can forget some things and then like go back to it. So I would highly recommend it, whether you buy like a Lake term for $20 at like your bookstore, buy a Moleskin and do it, grid paper, like dot grid and things like that. It'll work wonders for you. If you enjoyed the video, then like, comment, subscribe, feed the algorithm, boost the video up, share this video with your friends. If you found it informative or you just want to chat, I've got plenty of places in the description, Discord, Guilded, and what have you. Check those out, and I will see you guys in the next one.